Okay, today I'm doing another cooler comparison, a little bit more objective and measurable than the last time I did it, which was probably a year or two ago. We are comparing the Lifetime 65 and the Yeti 45. I know they're not the same size, but they're just what I have. All right, here we go. We're putting one large hard ice pack into each one. We have a Nalgene water bottle frozen with 500 milliliters of water in each one. We have 225 grams of ice cubes going in. And just another ice pack, that I found in the freezer. I actually have two of the same one, so I thought that would be helpful. These are just reusable ice pack or hot packs that we had frozen. All right, we're going to throw in some thermometers here. So again, these are just meat thermometers. I'm not sure if that works well for ambient temperature. They are both currently saying 24.3. This one does say 24.5, so they might be off us slightly, but we'll see how that works. All right, this is what we're working with. This is just that meat probe. I'm leaving it on the side. Push that down. This is the Lifetime. Again, just ambient temperature there. Give it a good push. All right. It is currently 9:03 a.m. We're going to check back later. All right, it has been just about 10 hours. Truthfully, I didn't mean to leave it this long, but work got a little bit busy and I wasn't able to check it at that 4 or 5 hour mark. So these have not been opened at all for the last 10 hours. And we're going to take a little peek to see what's going on in there and how the ice is holding up. Let's do it. All right, first glances, this is the Yeti cooler. Let's see what this thermometer says. Let it register for a second. Oh, most of our ice here is melted. We have a little bit left. You can kind of see that. This one is pretty much all gel. There's a little bit of a hard piece still left in there, but very squishy. Okay, this is still mostly frozen. You guys see that? But quite a bit of liquid still. And this big one, yeah, lots of liquid still, so quite a bit melted. And this is registering at 15 degrees Celsius, 15.4 inside the cooler temp. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Again, it's a meat thermometer, but we have a little bit of ice still in here. And again, your best bet is to actually have larger chunks of ice, like frozen containers. Milk jugs work well to be able to maintain the best. We'll close that one back up. This is the Lifetime 65. It significantly feels cooler in here as soon as I put my hand in. This thermometer is saying 16. So it's actually showing a little bit warmer. Most of my ice in here as well has melted. Not great to see. There's a few chunks still left. This one has a bit bigger of a chunk in the middle that's still frozen. But again, melted quite a bit. It's a gel pack. Oh, the Nalgene on this one actually seems like it's melted more than the Yeti. Let's see, there's still a big chunk in there, but there's quite a bit of liquid. And lastly, this flat one here, liquidy, still a big frozen spot in the middle here. But I would say this one maintained a little bit better in the lifetime versus the Yeti. It's so interesting, and it has been a scorching 30 degrees today. A little bit of cloud coverage, but it's hot and it's muggy, and my backyard faces south, so it's getting full sun all day. Yeah, I think maybe we'll just leave it for a little bit longer. I don't know if we want to do a 12-hour or even a 24-hour. I have a feeling by 24 hours, nothing will be left of it. Everything will be melted because of the temperature and just where it's at. I feel like we've already melted like almost 60 to 75% of it within the first 10 hours. So stay tuned and we'll check back one more time. All right, I'm going to make the decision to end the experiment now. We are at just over 13 hours that the coolers have been sitting out. Starting with the Yeti again. All right. This one, sounds like there's still a little bit of ice in this flat one. The gel pack has officially been fully thawed out. It still feels cold to touch though, which is really great. So not totally warmed up. We do have a little bit of ice left in our stasher bag. And our Nalgene bottle does still have a big chunk of ice as well. So what I'd like to do is measure how much water has been melted now compared to the other one. I'm not so confident about these thermometers. This one says it was measuring at about 6.5 to 7. And that's most likely the ambient temperature inside the cooler. Before we actually measure the liquids, lifetime cooler up next. Our gel pack, again, cold to touch, but fully melted. So it's pretty much the same as the Yeti. Looks like we have mostly all water in our ice cube bag. Little bit of floating ice cubes left. Sounds like, again, pretty much fully water here. And this is our Nalgene. You can see that ice chunk. This will be the most interesting one, I think, because it's the most objective to be able to measure. And I don't know if our thermometer is still on. This one's measuring at 11.5. So overall, this lifetime one has been warmer throughout this experiment. But taking that with a grain of salt again, because I don't know how accurate those thermometers are. This is a lot bigger of a cooler as well, which would be harder to keep cool. I don't know if you can kind of see here. Just the differences. And obviously when you fill a cooler with more food, it traps that cold air better, whereas these had a lot of open space. But again, this was kind of the best way that I figured we could measure and compare the two. I'm trying to just pour out the liquid here. So we have 163 grams of water that has been melted out of this one. All right, so this one was in the lifetime cooler, which was larger. I lost an ice cube in there. 220 grams of water, minus a little ice cube here. 218 grams of water. And I would say the Yeti won in this round. All right, the second test was the Nalgene water bottles, which were completely frozen, 500 milliliters of water. This one is the Yeti. And you can more clearly see the big chunk of ice that's left there. So we have 219 grams of water that came out of the Yeti. Just gonna pour that back for now. All right. This one is from the Lifetime cooler. $357 grams of water. And you can kind of see that ice chunk there. Wow, so the Yeti, again, won this round. All right, that concludes the testing. Much to my surprise, the Yeti actually came out ahead on almost all of the testing. The ones that we could really measure was the ice cubes in a bag and then the Nalgene water bottles that we had frozen a big chunk of ice. But also according to the thermometers, the Yeti did stay a bit cooler. So very interesting. I will tell you right now, Luke's and my experience from actually using it, because we have had these coolers for the last 2 years and we do a ton of summer camping. The Lifetime is typically a lot better. We store most of our perishable foods in the Lifetime cooler, and the Yeti is used mostly for drinks and things that we don't care if it starts to warm up a little bit. We do find we have to top up the ice in the Yeti a lot more versus the Lifetime. I don't know, or now it makes me wonder if we're just needing more ice in general to put into the Yeti to make it more effective. Maybe we'll try some other testing under different conditions. And I know all of the cooler recommendations say to pre-chill, which we did not do for this video, but we typically do for our camping trips. So maybe that's the difference. All right, see you next time.